Alright guys, so I actually got the UV dye right here, and what this is basically, I toss it into the radiator, and from the radiator it goes through the whole cooling system when the car is on, and it should leak out wherever the coolant's at because it spreads to the coolant. But if it's a head gasket leak, like I'm suspecting it is, it's gonna go through the tailpipe, and that's where I should see it. So to check it out, all I need is basically a UV light with some like yellow glasses that come with usually the UV light, or use a black light at night. And to be honest, I have a black light. I use it for Halloween parties and stuff like that, so I'm just gonna toss it on and then see what I got. I'm gonna toss half the bottle in and then see if I'm gonna go from there. But good stuff. So if you guys are not sure, and this was only like $5 on Amazon. So if you guys are not sure if you guys have a head gasket leak or any leak in the coolant, use this. You never know. So let's find out. Alright, one thing to do is check the actual description of the bottle. Here it says add 1 ounce of dye to every 4 gallons, and this is 1 ounce. So looking up my actual specifications of the car, my total engine coolant capacity in US quarts is approximately 6.1 or around 6.4. So to convert the quarts, it's easy. Going to Google. It's 6 quarts equals 1.5 gallons. So what that means, I'm going to use about a half a bottle for this car. Yep. You ready?
Yeah. How did you even pull this off, man?
What's that?
How did you even pull this off?
My dad pulled it off.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was his idea, not mine. Fucking nuts, man.
Now we gotta take it down.
He told me to take it down the same way, so I trust him.
Fuck, dude, okay. It's so scary, man! Slowly. Keep going. Keep going. Very slowly, bro. Alright, go. Go. Oh, wait. Fuck, dude. Alright, go. Go. Stop. Slowly. Keep going, keep going.
How scary was it, man?
It was my life flashed before my eyes, man. Oh, dude, what's wet?
Alright, so it's time to toss into this thing with some coolant, and I'm only gonna put about half the bottle. So let's do it. Got it bled and I got it in there, so now I gotta wait until I dry it for a little bit, and we'll check tonight so we got any black light splatters in the tailpipe. Yo guys, it's been 4 days later. Finally got my black lights right here. It's been in storage for about 8 months now, so that should work. And again, I've been driving the car for a couple days now, so I'm gonna find out if the coolant dye survives the chamber, the combustion chamber, because I read up earlier about it not actually going through the entire system, and it kind of just loses itself in that process. So I'm kind of interested to see if there's any dye in the tailpipe, and including if there's any dye in the engine compartment, or the engine base, excuse me. But yeah, I'm gonna go plug this in the back, and we're gonna get it started. Nice. Yeah, I really can't. I don't think it survived the combustion chamber. Huh. That's hell interesting. So I thought by starting off by actually seeing the dye worked by checking the bleeder valve, and it's kind of cool because you can actually see a different colored tone once you actually shine the black light over it. So checking this side of the radiator, I didn't see any leaks besides, you know, the little string around the actual hosing lighting up, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I see pretty solid. So I flipped sides and went to the other side of the radiator, and same story, no leaks. And this part here is going to be the coolant lines for the transmission, since this is an automatic, and no leaks, which again is fantastic. So from there I actually went under the car and checked the hosing under near the thermostat, which is another surprise to me. There was actually no leaks there either. So the actual like drippings on the hose must be from the very tip top when I was putting in coolant, and some of it maybe fell through, but from what I could tell there was nothing actually leaking from the housing itself or the inlet from the radiator. And since I was already down here, I might as well check the head gaskets, because to be honest, if the actual dye went through the system, you would see for sure leaks here, because some head gaskets do leak coolant from the bottom. But again, to my surprise, I guess my head gaskets are not that bad. There's no leaks, which again is also fantastic, because it kind of shows to me that the head gaskets are not as warped as I thought they were. So, I mean, they probably definitely are warped if they're leaking, but not to the point where it's going to be gushing out anywhere under the car. And there's also a cool passage on top of the engine, because it's a boxer engine. But the fact being is I couldn't get into it to see if anything was leaking, but I know for a fact it's not, because I've actually changed those gaskets myself. Also, this is like this weird splatter all over the engine, so I don't know, it was pretty neat to look at.
Oh, it's recording.
Hey guys, so I got a little list of problems wrong with the Subaru that I've seen so far that I want to tackle down when I have the engine out. Sadly, as you can tell, I got exhaust fumes in the radiator cap, so that means for sure it's a head gasket leak. We did a little test on the coolant dye, and we didn't find any leaks whatsoever in the engine, which is good. It's fantastic. The only thing that does suck though is that the coolant dye didn't survive the combustion chamber, so I didn't see any actual like dye in the tailpipe like I read up on. But hey, that was a actual test, and it doesn't work, so don't buy coolant dye if you're expecting to be seeing some head gasket leaks. Maybe mine was just a different type of leak, but it's all the same, to be honest, in my standards to a certain extent. But so we got exhaust fumes in the radiator cap, we got a ripped steering rack boot on the driver's, no, was it the passenger side part of the car. We got a bolt stripped in the steering pump, so basically the reason why the belt squeals so loud is because literally the belt is not tight enough because the bolt stripped out the last time I tightened them down. We got a major leaky differential in the front, and it's super dirty, and we're also leaking oil in the timing belt. So again, it's a lot to look at. Actually, when we take the engine out, I actually want to look at the there's an oil passage in the rear of the engine between the torque converter and the engine itself. So I guess there's like a plastic little barrier there that usually come like OEM straight up, and then once you drop the actual engine out of the car, you replace it with some steel components. So I guess it might be that leaking, and it's leaking all the way down to the differential, but we'll never know for sure until we actually take the engine out. But yeah, the engine's coming out. I made my science experiment on the actual problem, and I'm tired of having an on-working car. So stay tuned for the next one on the Subaru, because it's coming out. Peace out.